Da la vuelta y vive. Da la vuelta y vive. Ay, 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 ay. Da la vuelta y vive.
All right, well, episode number 5, and we're here getting ready to start another episode of Da la vuelta y vive. And we got a new friend with us here today. I'm going to introduce you to Nirvana. Say hi, Nirvana. So Nirvana is actually, she is going to be my service dog. She's already attached to me. She just came in today, and she doesn't want to leave me alone. I'm going to put her down. We're going to go ahead and start because we're talking about time today. Time. And there she comes back. So time is one of those things that we don't understand. I've thought about how I'm going to talk about time because we've been looking at, we've been talking about, we talked about obituaries last, and we talked about a lot of things that touch the heart. And a lot of times we wonder when it's time. And we say, when is it time? When it's time to do certain things. When is it time for me to move on? When is it time for me to, or one of the most common ones that I've been hearing lately is, when is it going to be my time? And the only thing I can say is that if I was talking to my kids, I would say that there is a time for everything, okay? There's time to learn, okay? When we come into the world, we talk about learning from learning how to talk, learning how to walk. Our parents become our first teachers, our parents, and they care about what happens. We fall, they pick us up. We cry, they console us. Anything that we go through, they're there. They're our teachers. They're our first teachers. Then we got to start going to school. And once we start going to school, we start learning other things that are necessary for us to move on in life. You graduate from high school, and a lot of times now when we're talking about graduating from high school, and back then when I'm talking about when I graduated from high school, graduating from high school was a huge thing, and then of course there was some that went on for college. There were some that went on for trade school, but nevertheless, it didn't stop there. So one of the things that we were discussing the other night is what should I tell my kids? How do I prep my kids for college? And this is the thing. The thing is that when we start thinking about our kids going to college, what we don't think about is the cost. And all of a sudden, freaking cost comes in. All of a sudden, all these things come in, and they play a big part in those decisions that we have to make as parents, and the decisions that we have to make as young human beings, right? Young men and women. And the truth is that we can't give them an option. There's no option here, okay? Because time doesn't wait for anyone. Okay, so we can choose to have time be the main or one of the main objectives in our lives is to work with time. Okay, so we got something that's called a watch, right? And nowadays we don't consider the watch because we have our phones, we have this. But check this out. And this is where I kind of get a little bit disturbed with what's coming, okay? And so when we talk about the watch, while it was, and I say it was, a very powerful tool, while it was a very powerful tool, it started to be secondary to anything that we do in life, okay? And thus far, it makes us forget. So now we turn and we start looking at our phones, and we start looking at our phones as being the primary timekeeper for us. Well, what a fucking mistake. And I'll tell you why. Okay? As much as I love my phone, as much as I love being able to have access at any time that I want. It is also a huge distraction, and it takes me away from a lot of things that I can remember. Now, put yourself in my shoes, and let's really start thinking about this. So we say time doesn't wait for anybody. We can't go back. We can't even freaking explain time. Who created it? Who said that there was 24 hours in a day? Who said that there was 365 days in a year? I mean, the calendar, everything depends on a certain time, okay? So we have appointments, we have whatever comes our way, and we want to write it down. We want to say we're going to be scheduling our life in a certain way that is going to give us the most for our results, for the most results for the effort that we're going to put in. But this is the problem. The problem is that when we start talking about time, the simplest way to set up time is say if there's 24 hours in a day, then divide that day into 8 hours. So you got your 8 hours of rest, and then you got your 8 hours of work, and then you're supposed to have 8 hours of play. But a lot of times that doesn't happen. And it's important, guys. It's important for us to be able to divide that day and say, you know what? I'm going to rest my 8 hours. Now, does that mean you're going to sleep for 8 hours? Not necessarily. No. It means that you're going to have those 8 hours to rest your mind, to rest your soul, to rest your body. It's a huge thing when you think about what it is that we're going to use those 8 hours to rest. Okay? Sleep. You don't even know what's going on. I always think that 4 hours of sleep is pretty good. Do you think four hours is pretty good? Right? So what do I do for the next 4? And we talked about being legendary, right? We talk about waking up early, starting our day, and not, got to keep in mind, guys, we got to wake up early, and we got to rest, continue resting our minds, getting meditating, thinking about what you're going to be doing for the day. And you say, no, well, that's work. No, I'm talking about sitting there and envisioning and dreaming about what's going to happen in your day, what you're going to do. All right. How many lives are you going to touch today? Okay. Then your work starts. That sacred thing that we called work. And that's what we got to look at it. Okay. How many of us wake up in the morning and we freaking dread going to work? Freaking hate it. I'm like, chinga, voy para atrás. There I go, back again, going to work. But don't look at it like that. There's a saying that says, live to work, not work to live. Yeah, live to work. So what is the difference? What's the difference when you live to work? When you assign those 8 hours and you put it in your head, you know what? I'm going to rest 8 hours. I'm going to dedicate 8 hours to my work. I'm going to dedicate those 8 hours that are vital to the success of me and my family, my kids, and everybody. And that's how I can continue and I can start finding success. Okay? Dedicate those whole 8 hours and say, you know what? I'm going to work those 8 hours. And then the play comes in. Does that mean sit in front of a TV? Yeah, sit in front of a TV for a while. Not for 8 hours. Sit in front of a TV, do whatever. But exercise, and those things should be fun, okay? Put it as a place in your life that's going to not only prepare you mentally, it's going to prepare you physically, okay? So that's how we divide the day, okay? Now, Tom and says, okay, if it's that simple, if it's as simple as saying I'm going to divide the day in by 8 hours, 8, then tell me when is it time for me to be successful? When will I find success? What is the blueprint? We talked about the blueprint to success. And we talked about time. We talked about creating your obituary. and time comes into place. So if you really look at it, every podcast that I've done up to now refers to time. So my son Victor, while he may think that he's not being successful, what he might not understand is that what he's doing right now is leading him to what he feels is going to be success. Okay? And we have different phases. We have the learning phase. We have the earning phase. Okay? Then we have the success phase. Okay? So it's all, and I want to get away from actually saying we have these phases and you're going to go through this, man, because we don't know when it's going to happen. All we can do is live our lives using time, the old-fashioned time. Well, I got a what do you call these? Apple Watch. Okay, so I got an Apple Watch. So basically, what the Apple Watch, the way I have it set up, it keeps track of the steps I do during the day. Keeps track of my heart, stuff like that, and of course the time and the date, and it'll let me know if there's a schedule coming up, if I have a meeting coming up or whatever. So it's a very handy little thing, and actually I still want to say that even with the technology that we have here today, if I have this watch, then what do I need my phone for? I mean, believe it or not, guys, and if you're younger, believe it or not, and I'm talking about the rotary phones and the ones with the cords. I don't know if you all know about these, but those phones right there, you couldn't take them with you. You stayed at home. So how did I survive? How did we survive? We think about like, how the fuck did I survive without this device that I have to be able to get a phone call wherever I'm at? And at the end of the day, if we really look at it, because these damn things, they keep track of the time that you spend on apps, on social media, on whatever. And if you go back and you see that you're spending 6 hours in social media, goddamn, I'm telling you, you better freaking think about what you're doing with your time, because you're wasting a lot of it. A lot of it is going. I think about how much time I have with my parents. I think about how much time I have to be able to tell my mom that I love her. I think about how many times I have to go out there and be my dad's friend and go and talk to him about life. Do I know everything? No. I want him to teach me as much as he can. How many times do I feel like I'm running out of time and telling my kids that I love them? Time. When you think about it, we're forgetting it. We're forgetting it, and we're focusing ourselves on a device that controls us. And it shouldn't be like that. We should control the device. We should control our life. You are in control. I am in control. We're in control of our lives. Not a device. Not anything that tells us, not something that tells me at this time you're going to eat. Eat when you're hungry. Drink water when you're thirsty. Our bodies are so smart. God made us in a way to where we know, we don't know, but we feel it's time to eat. We feel it's time to sleep. We feel it's time to drink water. Well, what if you expanded that thought process and you say, you know what, I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. I'm going to drink water when I'm thirsty. I'm going to sleep when I'm tired. When my body is telling me that it's time to do this, I'm going to listen and I'm going to do it. It's time for work. It's time for rest. And when I do that, then maybe time will tell me when I can find success. Time will tell me when I am making a difference in someone's life. Time will tell me when it's time for me to spend time with myself and think about the things that are important in our lives. Our family, our kids, our friends, our work, our rest. Da la vuelta y vive.
Da la vuelta y vive. Da la vuelta y vive. Gotta live, gotta breathe, gotta eat, gotta dar la vuelta y vive. Take it to the top, never gonna stop, gotta darle vuelta y vive. I'ma make it last, listen for the facts, gotta darle vuelta y vive. Tengo que decir, tengo que vivir, dar la vuelta y vive. Gotta live, gotta breathe, gotta eat, gotta darle vuelta y vive. Take it to the top, never gonna stop, gotta darle vuelta y vive. I'ma make it last, listen for the facts, gotta darle vuelta y vive. Tengo que decir, tengo que vivir. Turn around and live nothing free in life. Take advantage of everything around. I was given breath, I was given sight, very proudly, so I take what's mine. I am the conqueror, conquer defeat. Purpose in life, yo quiero vivir. I am the lifeline of my success. Living for purpose is living the dress. Da la vuelta y vive. Gotta live, gotta breathe, gotta eat, gotta dar la vuelta y vive. Take it to the top, never gonna stop, gotta darle vuelta y vive. I'ma make it last, listen for the facts, gotta darle vuelta y vive. Tengo que decir, tengo que vivir, dar la vuelta y vive. Gotta live, gotta breathe, gotta eat, gotta dar la vuelta y vive. Take it to the top, never gonna stop, gotta darle vuelta y vive. I'ma make it last, listen for the facts, gotta darle vuelta y vive. Tengo que decir, tengo que vivir.